started. There we go. I'm just gonna post the stream up for those who um, okay. So welcome to those who are here. And thanks Red for showing up. Kind of last minute because your plans changed. Yay! And we can finish up EN list. We're going to Diva this time. Mostly just because we can. And anything past Diva is just a bunch of power creep put together that I think it's good to wrap them all together in a bundle rather than not. Um, so that's what we're going to be planning on doing, at least for today. Give me a sec. Oof. Trying to gather all my little things together. 2 days in a row must be a dream. Yeah, I mean you can blame Red on this. Because Red
I take
is
responsibility.
because Red told me he has time. I'm like, oh, let's get this out of the bed. Like let's get this finished. We have a lot to go through. So yeah, we're gonna update the EN tier list this time. Um, we're just going through Limit Break 1, really. We don't really need to go for Limit Break 3 on EN side. If you really care about Limit Break 3 and stuff, you can always look at the JP tier list. It doesn't really change too much, in my opinion, on like how good units are, because overall, units that have been good in current EN times that are still relevant in current JP times, they've stayed pretty much at the top for the most part throughout like the history between now and then. So I don't think it would make much of a difference. So for instance, Aoi in EN is still really, really good, and in JP she's just still just as good. Granted, in JP she can now give morale to her whole team, including herself, and that even makes her even better in JP. So just put in perspective, overall, um, any unit that is seen as good, for instance Mia too, they're still really good. Like if they're like really good in EN, they're still represented very well in JP, so um, just keep note of that if you're wondering, oh, like how good is the LB3 of said character. So we can get started. If you notice, I did knock everyone down, so I can see just showing that real quick. I basically just copy pasted this over to our little sheet, editing sheet, and I've knocked everyone already down one peg. We're gonna get started with that first out of the way, so people understand where this is coming from, and that will be where we're basically ending our timer, which is at Diva. So Diva is kind of hands down your de facto like only tier, like not only, but like one of the few tier 10s. They'll come out very soon at some point. And the way you understand why is if you know how Union works, that'll be that she gives funnel, which is hit count buff. Um, Diva will be able to give out the same thing, except for it's going to be large hit count rather than small hit count, and it's going to be turn based. So um, you're able to fire like maybe like if you can fire 3 skills, um, like within 3 turns. So a skill and then skill and a skill, all of them are going to have the hit count buff attached to it, which means OD is going to go up higher and things like that. Um, Sadly, she has a very very lack of synergy with like with certain units, very few. Aina 2 being one of them. They have basically no synergy. The buff from Ruka does not stack with the EX2 of Aina 2. So the hit count will be very wonky, and you won't have a fun time. That's just kind of like a food for thought to think about. But yeah, overall, Ruka is going to be very good. We're going to mark as red because that's supposed to be unreleased, and I have not updated these, so there's a good chunk that have now been. She hasn't been released yet. That now have been released. That I'll have to change up. Tama is still going to be very strong. I can't really say that she drops significantly in a tier, even with Ruka around stealing her spotlight in crit damage, 100% crit damage. So if you look, oh, not deep. Okay, it's not gonna help. um, she gives 100% crit damage, which kind of like overshadows Tama. But the thing is that Tama provides Mind Eye and provides hit count buff. I mean, hit count, enhance, and that's going to be something that you will be trying to understand, like not understand, but trying to form in your team. Once Diva comes out and you have Diva, is you'll understand that you'll have crit damage. You'll understand you have hit count buff, so Union's going to be off the team, and that also means that this 100% crit damage is going to be kind of overlapping with Tama. So trying to um, fit Tama into your team because of the Mind Eye and her Enhance is going to be something that you have to juggle depending on your damage dealer. Because if your damage dealer has Mind Eye or Large Enhance, you can use basically anyone else than her. So, but I still think she's relatively strong and still should be considered in a high tier. Though maybe I'll mark down to where like Union is here. I'm gonna have to like move all these girls down a peg, which I might just do right now since it's easier. So, but yeah, this is pretty much kind of like where these girls stand overall, at least Tama. And so yeah, Red,
Yeah,
how's
what's
it
up?
looking for you?
It looks good because Diva in her own tier, everybody else moves down. Yeah, no other way to do it.
Okay, well, looking at our fun ones, um, Higu, Mari. We'll look at the lower ones first, just because we have to kind of make space for everyone else in a way. But Tama 2 is kind of not viable anymore in EN. Um, I probably would never recommend her in a team unless you really have nothing better. But she is not exactly fringe level. She still provides heals. She provides enhance still to your team. So it's not like she's completely worthless. But you probably just won't use her. I'm gonna like drop her just like really 2 tiers. She's kind of uh, out at the moment. Um, tier 2. A lot of units are gonna start dropping like flies.
Yeah.
So there's that. Um, I think that's like not really arguable of a drop. Seda just got her Evo, right? Like a bit ago in EN,
Yeah,
if I'm
pretty
not
recently.
mistaken.
It
Yeah,
was
which
with
means that
Irene,
you
I think.
yeah, okay,
No.
so then that means she has
Yeah.
now access to the crit damage, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
She's
cool.
her full power unlocked.
She is on her full power. So, she is right now really, really strong. Um, at least her SS1 is. Um, and you get 100% crit rate, 5 turns. It costs only 9 SP to use it, so it's very cheap, very spammable. Uh, if you're running dungeon stuff, this is always nice to have, but it's not necessary. It's just nice to have that you don't have to worry about your crit rate being what's it called again, tied behind a usage count, essentially.
Yep.
So, very solid unit. Of course, her other stuff allows her to heal a little bit. So, if you are just starting in the game and you get to choose your free SS, um, either you're going to be re-rolling for a crit damage, I mean, not crit damage, crit rate, um, or something like that, or you can literally just pick her up for free. and you'll be doing pretty well because this is very spammable at 9 SP. So highly recommended if you're starting out to pick her as your starting. Does she deserve to be at this spot right here? I personally think that she deserves to be at tier 6. Just because she has kind of jack of all trades, has your crit damage, crit rate, it's spammable, it's 60%. Sure, she doesn't come with enhance and such things like that, but there's nothing bad about her and nothing that makes her like barely viable. She is very strong. So I will like she was tier 7, but like I'm like she got moved down to tier 6 due to Diva influence, but I think she this is a very good spot for her. Um, yeah. On the other side of things, we have Higu and Mari, which are seeing a lot less prominence because now there's a way to kind of just like, for instance, Seda and Diva, you're able to actually just use one skill and get max crit rate. You don't have to worry about it too much for
Yep.
compared to these two girls, and their only additional thing is like throwing in enhances, and their crit damage is like either the same, if not lower. So like no lower than Diva, but the same as Seda. The only difference between Seda and them is well, Seda is spammable without an enhance, and these two come with enhance. So I still value them more than Seda, but not particularly that much higher. So I'm gonna put them at like bottom of strong. I think this is like pretty good. I mean, pretty close to where I would value them currently. Once Diva is
Do you
in the
really think
mix.
Seika 2 is still above Sarah 1?
Uh,
What does she offer
I
that's
think
better?
so. I think the enhance, due to the enhance being a strong enhance, um, is what I would key in here, right? Of saying that like she's like a better like having
Mhm.
than Seda 1 is. Granted that it is situational and one can argue one over the other depending on your team, but I value that enhance a lot.
All right, fair enough.
Um, but yeah, then we have our unions. I think they can stay at the top of tier 8. They're still very, very strong. um, because of hit count buff being not the most universal thing. But they also are not anywhere close to how much value you get versus Diva. So once Diva is out, if you have Diva, you'll probably never use Union again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you. I don't think I have. I don't think many people I know also have. But it is very, very important to note that she is still incredibly strong, and she's not something that's like so bad that you're not going to use her. It's just that she's just not as good, so you just won't use her. But she's still strong. So if you are new to the game, hopefully, just like cross your fingers, hopefully, Conquest will be out, and you can just select her and live with her until you get your hands on Diva, essentially. Um, very very helpful when it comes to that type of deal. Um, let's see. I think we can end with that for here. Guess we can pick up the ones that are coming out soon that are also general buffers. I think the only one that counts here is Minori 2, right? Am I not mistaken, Red?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
So Minori 2, she's uh I'll bring her up if you haven't seen her yet. Has an interesting kit. Her kit is basically instead of running on SP, it'll actually eat up 50% of your OD gauge, which is quite a lot to be honest. But in the meantime, as you level up, of course, you get more crit rate and you get 50% crit damage. So she's another method of getting 100% crit damage. And due to the fact that she doesn't use any SP, she will have an SP donate to an ally, which is very strong because, well, she doesn't need um, this. Like doesn't need SP for her EX. Now, if you do have her SS1, you can always give Mind Eye as well, so you can technically see her as a Mind Eye crit damage, crit rate general buffer. In a sense, you can kind of see her as a worse suit Tama because she can kind of do both, but also not really. Um, no heals, there's like other issues. She does provide you 10% OD gauge at the front line when you just place her in the front line at the very beginning of battle. So you get 10% straight off the bat, and that's it. Um, is she amazing? By no means is she amazing, in my opinion, but she's not actually completely unusable. But when Diva exists, it's just not. She's just not as good because Diva, you can do one cast, get all the crit rate and all the crit damage, but you'll need to have two casts for full crit damage for her instead. And it costs OD, which is pretty hard to deal with. I would kind of put her in a similar tier as Seda. I know before, if you looked at previous timelines and stuff, I probably put her very low in viability, but over time, I've actually realize that she is not as bad, but she is pretty close. Same lower level, if not a little tiny bit lower than Seda. Sure, she may seem higher due to the fact that she has um, more crit damage and comes with Mind Eye if you have SS1. But like Seda has heals and there's like a lot more other things that she has going for her. But I think they're deserving to be approximately about the same level. What do you think, Red?
I think she's about the same, maybe slightly higher than Sam.
Yeah, it's about the same. I'm just gonna keep her here. I don't think it hurts to keep them about the same, but um, yeah, she's a
Like
solid pick.
outside of dungeon, I'd pretty much always use Minori.
Outside of what?
Dungeon,
Hmm,
or the unlimited skill
probably.
use notice.
Yeah, if I had to make a choice, yeah, I'd probably run Minori more than Seda in many cases, but they're approximately the same in like how useful they are. Elementals, supports. Well, so, not supports, but buffers. So, um, these are the current three queens, um, and uh, Yun Yun kind of gets dinked because, well, she only brings crit damage and crit rate for Thunder, and sure, she does come with enhance and hit count, but if you're bringing Diva anyways, the value of all the extra stuff she like the hit count she brings from her kit and seeing how expensive she is kind of make her not feel as great of a unit to bring. So that does kind of dink her to the same position essentially as her other counterparts. She's not bad by any means. It's just that there's kind of no reason to run her, but she's still considered good, especially if you don't have Diva. So I'm gonna keep her at like dink her to this spot. These two are pretty much the same level as Tama. If not, I wouldn't feel bad if even lopping them a little bit higher. But I think for now, I think it's reasonable to put them in the lower bracket of tier 9. And they're just as good as each other, essentially. One of them will buff more and also provide the crit rate as well as a large enhance if you really need that. And the other one is more for blasting and also faster clears because, well, she's going to be throwing out her buffs with less SP usages than Yutsuha is at a basis. And we are assuming still that there will be no master missions for Adele yet to get her her pseudo Aoi. Even if she did, she'd pretty much be in the same spot anyways.
Mhm.
I think this is pretty reasonable, right? Like, there's no reason for them to be top of tier 9. I think they're
Nope,
reasonably at bottom of tier.
that's
Yeah.
reasonable.
Casa is still really good. Because well, fields have not been nerfed to the ground yet. In current JP, if you're wondering why Tsukasa is now barely viable, is because fields have their multiplier additive to enhance rather than multiplicative to everything else. So now fields are seen as in JP pretty much um, the first thing you let go that you don't have in your team. So there are actually a lot of fire teams right now that don't even have a field. If you opt to have Higu over um, uh, Idoha too. So that's just a quick note. Kasa is still really strong. I think she should stay in the place that she is at tier 8. This is assuming that they are not going to have the damage calc changes by the time Diva is out. So, which we still have no clue if that's going to happen. Overall, to be honest, I think overall none of these girls move except for I think Chie goes up to strong.
Yeah, I can see that. She is pretty
Like
good.
I'm looking right now. Idoha will get pumped up because we expect her to have her Evo skill. That's for sure. Like I'm trying to go through
And that
this
one's
and be
tapped
like, what do we have?
to an event, not to tower, so she might get hers a little bit sooner.
Yes, that is true. So I'm trying to take a look here. Okay, so let's go with this. Um, these two should stay where they are. I don't think they need to move either. If you want to know the reasoning of why they were tiered, well, I mean, before they were tiered, I think bottom of 8 or something. But since everything was knocked down a peg by Diva, please just refer back to the previous um, tier listing. They haven't really changed too much, but Chie in this era, it's not that she has gotten better or anything, but because of how ice is formed and how ice teams are like, she actually gets a little bit more prominence in general. Let's go to Chie real quick. Um, and the main difference of like why she'll be rated a little bit higher as well as just kind of line up with Yotsuha and Tsukasa is mostly due to the fact with um, like before tier listing and stuff when we did this previously. What when do we do this?
Um,
Uh,
no clue.
4 months ago. Yeah, 4 months ago. We were still unsure um, on certain aspects. But now that we are very, oh, that's the wrong one. Now we're very sure more so on like orb skills, stuff like that. I think she does deserve a spot, at least in within strong tier. She is by no means weak, and especially with Yuina being around, she is a very solid unit that can be used for a lot of ice teams. Especially she should be used for all ice teams until everyone's favorite Casa 5 comes out. Um, talking about it, how exactly does Idoha 2-3 overtake Megu 3-5? Oh, sure, I can explain that real quick. So in JP, if you haven't seen, Idoha 2, Idoha 3 have completely overtaken. Oh, that's a weird border change. The Megus, right? So Megu 3 and Megu 5 in terms of like who you want to use um, as a fielder. A large portion of why these two, even though they are fielders, are especially these three, should I say, they are fielders and why they're so ranked so high is that the other things they do are so important. The main way to put it is previously without Idoha 3, Idoha 2 was ranked pretty much a little bit lower, and before field changes, Megu was placed in a higher tier. The thing is that currently in JP, there are way more methods to reduce fire, defense, add fragile, add regular defense down, all things that you expect Megu 3 to bring to the table and Megu 5 to bring to the table. While what Idoha 2 and 3 bring, they're not very easy to obtain. So, for instance, if you're running Idoha 2, you'll be getting plus 5 SP for just changing the field from any field to fire field, as long as it's not originally fire field. Um, or if you have Iroha 3, you're bringing Thunder Enhance, which is the one buff that was really hard to come by in JP for the longest time. Um, the only real method of getting that previously to that um, was really Tama. So Tama 3, if you two stack that twice, you that's like the realistically the only way to get it if you didn't come from your damage dealer. Like Hisame would give it to herself twice, but Ichigo would also give it to herself once. So like it was very hard to actually come by getting it double stacked until they released Chidori 3 with Yanagi, but Idoha 3 is just a better Chidori 3 when it comes to increasing your damage. But if you want to survive, Chidori 3 is way better than Idoha 3. So it makes it, it takes what you feel like what's important to you. It's like, do you want survival or do you want being able to like kill faster? But in order to kill faster, you have to make sure that your team has enough limit breaks to just straight up survive. Because if you can't survive in current JP, which is really hard to do,
It's really
um,
hard. Yeah.
you're just gonna suffer. So that's why there's a lot of kits in JP tier list that have anyone who's defensive, like Seda, Chidoru, Mua, are considered very, very strong. Admiral AI is still considered extremely strong because survival is such an important thing, right? Anyways, going back to EN tier list, right? Chia still gets, I think, ranked up a little bit here. We aren't expecting the Shadow 3 buff anytime soon because he just got the buff in JP, so there's no reason to talk about it. I think these girls are um, probably even lower now. I think they're just like barely viable. I wouldn't even. I'd actually just put them like barely viable in current
Yeah, I could see that.
EN. I don't see them being like even remotely like over viable. There's like you can still have on your team. They'll still function, but these fielders by themselves not going to cut it anymore. Granted, Casa now has her Evo skill, so we could put her higher. Um, Casa 2 already has her in buffs. Okay, yeah, so I don't have to think about that. Iroha at this point actually gets her Evo skill. Hopefully, it's like 2 or 3 events. Um, she'll have her Evo skill. If you haven't seen her Evo skill, we'll just show it off real quick. Because yeah, we're only going up to Fubuki Evo skill, right? Like in our thing. So,
Yep.
um, so her Evo skill. The main thing you have to understand is this is the first time. This is the second time. So the first time you use it, it's going to be half cost SP, so it's going to cost 6, and you get 30% OD drive. Um, Everything else is the same. So it's still 5-hit AoE. It's still the small dark field. Yes, it says 65 in JP because they increased the number. Don't sweat. um, and the second time after, it's gonna be as if it's the first regular one. So just note, yes, it's gonna be 6 SP and then becomes 12 after the first cast. This uh, OD gauge increase alone actually makes her incredibly potent comparatively to her other kind of like fielder counterparts, aka Mari 1 and Casa 1. So I'll put her like in a tier slightly above. We are not really like if we're to expect that you own her SS2, there's no reason to use Iroha 1 over Iroha 2, and we'll bring her Iroha 2 in as well because, well, she is part of this class, Iroha 2. She is incredibly potent, and if you use with Iroha 1, you can have her be your uh, fire or your dark buffer. I mean, well, not buffer, but fielder. So, if you have her SS1, you can use this as your dark field. If you have her, and her SS2 will provide you with a fire field. So, just note, look at these fields. They'll be very useful for you, as one will help the other greatly. If you run this skill on turn 1, since you'll have 7 SP, at turn 2, you can give your whole team 5 SP. So if you're thinking, wow, SP has been kind of slow for me, this is basically around the time when SP becomes more abundantful. abundant. Is that the right word?
Abundance.
Abundant, high in abundance. And so you'll kind of be like, wow, SP kind of just rolls in like dough if you're lucky to have these units. Hopefully, she's free. uh, the crit damage common skill will be dependent on whatever field you have, which means that if you're on a fire field, she'll give fire crit damage. If you're in a dark, I misclicked, dark field, you'll have dark crit damage. So she can be both a dark and a fire buffer for crit damage, which is a huge deal. So because of that, our good friend Idoha is going to be about the same strength as because they're about the same as Union. So about the similar level as Megu. If you're wondering why she's not on the same level as Yotsuha and Adele, she is missing the large enhance. Um, but she does have the battery of 5 SP that's basically free and a lot of OD gain. So depending on what you have, what you don't have, she can definitely be a key figure in your team. But in Fire currently, it's also still a little bit hard to fit her, even right on her release, but right afterwards, it becomes a lot easier. This is like a time where like Casa 2, you can pair Casa 2 and and Idoha 2 together, and you can basically make a Yotsuha 1 that also has that's also like it's like Yotsuha 1 and Megu, but like has more OD gain, has more SP gain, um, and yeah, that's pretty much what you're doing. So they're like a good solid combo. I think it's like a good place to put her. Maybe I could put her. I could put Union behind her, but I still
Yeah,
think Union is still better than her. Just there are better options. It's like a weird place to put her. I think this is okay though. Other buffers. Uh, Shiki. Yeah, I think that's like the only one left, right? Yeah, Shiki. That's new. So,
pretty much.
Shiki is at a very sad spot. To say the least. At least in JP, she was. Um, the main thing about her is that she is actually a very strong buffer, but never saw the light of day because we only really count like the thing is like she had everything going for her, and then Diva said that we don't exactly need her anymore. So the main thing she had going for her was that she provided light attack, she provided hit count, she provided crit rate, and element light crit damage. She can also give large enhance and give an allied charge. Her main problem that she had was that in order to get um, her ability to provide all this extra stuff was that she needed to have charge herself. Um, yes, she can give herself charge with this skill, which costs 7 SP, but that's kind of asking for too much because you also want to use this skill on your ally. So overall, it kind of feels a little bad because she's just very SP intensive, and sure, in a meta where there is better SP economy, she's decent and pretty good. She's always been good in light for top damage, but you can't get high score with her because she's just too slow. So overall, um, not the greatest thing in the world, but also not the worst. Um, she does deserve a decently like good spot. She is better than Yotsuha 2, and I kind of like would put her a little bit under Casa 3 in this case. Sure, you can argue that she seemingly is similar to Union 2 in terms of doing a lot of these different things, but the thing is that like Union would provide all her buffs to all of her allies, while Shiki provides her buff only to one ally, and that's kind of like the main difference, and that's actually a big deal, um, because Union giving it to everyone means that your supports can be your breakers and can break the enemy, and you don't have to break the enemy with your main damage dealer. While Shiki um, and you conserve buffs, by the way, from your main damage dealer, right? Because they always have, like, everyone has the crit rate, crit damage buff, but Shiki's not the case. She only can direct it to one unit, so that is a big deal, which is why she is where I place her to be. I think it's like a solid spot where she is. Like, she is strong, but she's not
Mhm.
overtaken. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, she does just objectively have good numbers outside of her SP costs.
Like, she does. She's
It,
just not seen
it
live
doesn't really
well.
matter how good she is, she just won't seem like
Yeah,
because
exactly.
of her inherent mechanics.
Yeah. Everyone else I think is fine where they are. We can just leave them as they are. Um, Nothing too different changed. Defender. We have Aoi. Sure, we didn't put SS2. I just realized, but that's because, well, you kind of just use her for damage rather than for defensive measures. Um, these two are just as good as they are here. I think we place them in a good spot. I don't think there's a reason to change that. They can just stay here on their own. Um, they just do AoE things, which means they block damage for you. Whoop de doo, thumbs up. It's pretty much over. There's nothing crazy about that. Now, we will have some extra different things going on here. If you look right here, we have Ichiko 2, who is finally out. Wow, she was not out when we did this. And technically, Aoi was not either. Um, Ichiko 2 is still very strong, providing defense buffs if you have SS1 and Fragile. I think she's still at a very strong place in JP. I mean, not JP, EN. But you probably won't see too much play of her just because, as you noticed, there are very good options in the fire department up above. So you won't see much play from her, but she is still an incredible unit in in EN. Keep saying JP.
Yeah, they're
Jeez.
getting pretty close to the same at this point.
Yeah. These two, you could probably, I could probably knock them down when you really don't see them at this point, or you wouldn't see them or use them. So I think this is fair. Britika basically just never used anyways, so we can just leave them as is. Any new defenders? Yeah, I don't think we need to change these guys, so we can just leave them.
I mean, Admiral is the new defender, but not really.
Right, Shiroru 2 is coming out. Um,
Isn't she a healer? No, she's a defender.
she's a defender.
I
She's a
think of her
defender.
more as a healer, though,
I think
even
of
though
her
she only
as
does
more
regen.
as I think of her more as you know, just this, just cover
Yeah,
girl. That's it. Her kit, she's coming out in EN very soon. They just announced her. She will be one of the tickets you can use to uh select. Um, but her main gist is she is a light unit made for light teams. She has a passive that whenever she uses her EX, including EX1, she will provide a debuff guard to all light units on your team. And she has a regular +1 SP, as well as at LB3, which is just kind of worthless to be honest. As long as she's in the front line, she does give herself a 30% defense buff, so will be very tanky. If you look at her stat spread, for the most part, it is very, very tanky. So she can sit in the front for a very long time. Her EX basically provides 3-turn defense, 3-turn regen, and 1-use charge. Here's the deal: the defense up and the DP regen is only for light styles. And when you skill by level, it only increases the power of the charge. So it actually feels really bad. And even if you use her in like light teams, it kind of feels bad. Um, she is not the worst thing in the world, but she also is not that great. Um, her what's it called? Her common skill will do an attack down. Not that like crazy of a skill, but it is a single target attack down, and both of these have if you use them for the first time, their deep SP cost is halved. So You can actually use this right out the gate, which is pretty cool and pretty nice. Is she useful or strong? The problem is that if you are running someone like Diva, Diva's not going to even get used. Like get her, like her EX is not like her skills are not going to even affect her. They have to be light, and it being constricted to that, she's basically just like barely viable in a light team. But honestly, more so on the fringe side of things, I probably would never field her if I didn't have to survive off of like 6 light units. Outside of that, I just feel like she's just not it. I think the only time I've ever used her was for fun to level her up in Orb Boss.
That's the only time.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
used her
No,
outside
I
of
don't
that?
have her.
Oh, you don't have her? Yeah. I think that's like the only
But
time I've
no, I
ever
wouldn't use
used
her.
her. But like I still wouldn't use her. Um Speaking of that, I guess we can just like go off on a small tangent because there is a selector coming up of Chiroru 2 versus Maki 2. Both are not that amazing or great to own. But if you just want practicality, I'd probably pick Maki 2 mostly because she does have a resonance skill, which in JP means that if you have an SSR, she could be that is Thunder, and it is a buffer. Maki 2 will be useful for them to greatly enhance their enhanced power. Let me get the resonance list real quick. Um, where are they? I just missed them. Right here. Right here. Where is it? I'm blind. Right here. So, if you are Maki here, Maki 2, you'll be giving at LB0 a 15% increase in buff ability for Thunder because she is a Thunder unit. Of course, if you're max, it's 25, but it's just small increases. So that is a thing, but the only one in JP that currently can even use it semi properly would be like Nanami. If she buffs up your team for strong enhance, it just makes the strong enhance stronger. Nothing special, but that's something to take in account. So yeah, we'll be done with that. Healers. I'm gonna get some water real quick. Red.
Alright.
Give me a sec. Trying to like breeze past these. There's so many units. I'm gonna be so excited when we don't have to touch EN tier list because it's just gonna be JP. Can't wait.
Okay.
Okay,
Not
so
too much
healers.
longer now.
Yep. At this point in um the his JP timeline, when it was Diva time, healers were not really seen anymore. Like you basically had no healers on your team because everyone was either a sub healer and Diva would allow you to actually heal up your team by just auto attacking. Sadly, in JP, that's not the case anymore. The enemy border is so high, you auto attack for 1 damage. You can use your EX and it'll deal 1 damage, so you basically lifesteal 0 HP, not HP, DP. So now you actually either have to kill the boss without healing, or you have to kill the boss with defense buffs and healing. Um, just RAM perspective. Uh, so healers at this point in JP history is pretty much dead. Um, Mua and Mua 2 with Mua 1 um, is still gonna be the de facto best healers. A lot of it just has to do with the fact that they do have Mind Eye. So if you have any other method of getting enhance, strong enhance, especially your damage healer giving it to themselves, they were basically the king. Um, of that type of stuff, and Mua was the queen of giving Mind Eye. Mind Eye is finally very common in JP as of the last like 5, 6, 7 months or so of banners, but they also kind of combined Mind Eye with regular enhance in JP, so that's a that's a shtick that it does exist. But Mua is still, I would consider, like top of tier 8. I think she deserves that spot because during this time, I think even you read right,
Yep.
like occasionally ran Mua again instead of Tama just because you didn't care about the enhance and you really needed the heal. Which if you were running Tama, you had to basically use her as a non-healer because she did
Yeah,
all the enhance and all the Mind Eye.
they're both mostly interchangeable for a lot of content. You just want the mind side.
Yep. Um, as for the rest of the staff of healers, pretty much, Yanagi now has her what's it called again? Her donate, which is nice at like the very end of things, but like during the middle or during the beginning, it's kind of like hard to use it when you really need to, um, what's it called? Um, like try to get your ball rolling for heals. However, if you do run Yanagi with Diva, the very nice like thing that they had going on was that you can run Yanagi who can give SP to Diva, and the very next turn you can pop Diva right away. That was kind of a thing that people did for um, like Pierce crit teams and stuff like that. And as well as like if you're just trying to do very fast clears, just because if you get to Diva fast enough, that means you're ramping up your SP really quickly. So I do think that that was like a powerful thing that was existing for Yanagi over in itself, and so I think it's best if Yanagi is moved up kind of a tier just because of that hit count. I mean, hit count, yeah, the donate for SP. Wow, you can clearly tell I'm so tired from yesterday, especially. And Tama here, I don't think is seeing too much play. If in fact, I don't feel like she deserves to be in like anything considered strong. I think we can kind of dip her down to closer to viable, and we can dip Tama 1 down to regular viable tier.
Yeah, I mean, Light Tama's only really viable because she has skill enhance from Sutama. And aside from that, you never use her.
Pretty much.
Until
So
she
I think
gets
this is
her
like
like skill evolution at least, and then she's like somewhat
yeah.
interesting again.
I totally forgot about that because I don't use
I mean,
any
still a good
Tama.
skill.
I'm waiting for Tama 6. Is it 6? 6? Yeah.
It's Tama 6. But we
Yeah.
still don't have Tama 6, right?
Yeah,
Did
we're
they
waiting
release
for
her and then
Tama
I forgot
6.
about it? Yeah, it's been like
No.
2 years since she
No.
got a
The
new
well,
SF.
she hasn't gotten a new SS in like
Yeah.
2 years. She used to have the most SS. You remember that when she first came out?
So yeah,
Now
man,
she's
it's gonna be a
so
really
yeah.
good SS when it comes out.
Um,
Because she
I
gets
mean,
like the Tama bonus and the
hope.
power creep bonus.
I hope. She at least is not worthless. Anyways, Tama is as you can see very good, but we haven't seen another Tama in JP since. But for now, healers wise, we have Mua, and as you can see, Yanagi's down here. There is a very big discrepancy between the healers. Um, and well, we can pretty much write off these pseudo
Yep.
healers since they don't really do much. I'm just gonna get rid of them because they are very pseudo. Um, we have new healers now. We should change this. Um, uh, in the next couple of well, not we have, but we will be having in EN some new healers soon. Notably, we'll have Carol and we'll have Seika. I don't think there's any other healers. Get rid of See what we have around
No,
here.
Fubuki's the opposite of a healer.
Yeah, she. Yep. So
Aoi does heal, but she's not classified as a healer.
so we can go over Carol. We can
Yeah.
go over Higu. So Carol, for the most part. Of course, in JP, she's now like worthless. Um, but on her release on JP's side, she was actually not the worst thing in the world, but she wasn't the best thing in the world. I think the best way to put her was she was kind of a side grade of Union for fire teams. Kind of like how Adele was a side grade for Yotsuha, except for the main difference being that uh, Carol is kind of like has healing capabilities, and instead of like doing DR, and she can give her hit count buff to um, way more allies, but they have to be in the front. And she can only, I think she only heals those in the front, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I saw her kit. I think she only
I
heals the ones
thought
in
it
the
was a
front.
party heal. I thought they
Was
stopped
it a
doing
party
Vanguard
heal?
healing. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, never
Party
mind. It
DP
was
Okuma, yeah.
it was a party heal. Okay,
It was the
I just
frontline hit
remember
count.
it's been a
Yeah.
while. Yeah, it's a frontline hit count, frontline enhance, but it is a party heal. The heal itself was not that great either. Um, but the greatest part about it is that you could go into negatives, just like Union can, and for Union needing to use 11 SP for one unit, you're basically doing 3 units for 14 SP. Granted, af- in JP, we did not have the hit count change during that time, so she can actually make use of the hit count buff. Nowadays, that is not the case, especially in EN. You can't really use it. If you look at her like other skills that she can use, you would have to end up using this 4 SP costing skill in order to actually make use of her hit count buff, which isn't that bad of a thing. So she can help you build OD really fast for fire teams um, than like what you're normally seeing. So she wasn't that bad. There was she her the max damage you get out of her is very low though because she is a healer, so it's not like her enhance gets you know better through tiers. So there's just a bunch of things going on for her that was like good and bad. If you wanted fast clears, she was the way to go for fire a lot of the time on her release. But that's not gonna be most of the case for EN. And honestly, you should probably just skip her banner since it's a solo banner. How good is she as a unit? I don't think she was like that terrible of a unit. She was definitely better than Yanagi, and I would actually put her as considerably like just a strong tier, just because she can help you with building OD. She did have a decent heal, though it wasn't crazy good. Um, but she's overshadowed by Duka, so you'll basically just never see her. Um, yeah, there are a lot of jokes of like how bad she is, because by the time she came out, there're just better options in general. So, yeah, I think it's like a good, decent place to put her, um, because of what she brings to the table. What do you think, Red? I think this is like a solid
Yeah.
place to put her. Like she's like strong, but like not strong enough to like warrant anything spectacular about her.
Yep, and she'll only drop from there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like her peak. Higu. Higu 3 is a fun unit. I liked using her until I just couldn't use her. 11 SP gives Mind Eye, gives attack up, gives DP regen. If you increase her thing, she gives more regen. The regen isn't the highest thing in the world, but because she is a healer, that means she gets increased healing with her tiers. Quick note is that she also provides morale every time she uses her EX. The main problem is it's only 2 per EX, and her EX costs 11 SP, which means that's like what 55 SP if you want 10 morale.
Yep.
That's not worth it. Um, it's pretty hefty. You'll basically never hit this amount. Um, and unless you are heavily invested on your Casa and uh your Aina 2 to like get you all the OD in the world, yeah, this is just not it. Um, overall. But she is not bad. She is one of the few Mind Eye you can actually get. But in Dark, like there were other options you can use for Mind Eye that were better. At the very least, she was pretty good because you have Mind Eye, and if you have SS1, Uh, wow, this is just not it. There we go. If you have SS1, you can also give higher, large enhance through doping. So she was able to give Mind Eye and enhance and be a healer just like Tama is, and also provide morale. So it's not like the worst thing in the world. It just wasn't the best thing in the world. But overall, still very strong. I'd even rate her higher than Carol because during that time, getting Mind's Eye was very difficult. Um, but yeah, her main issue has always been that to maximize her usage, it just cost too many turns. But it only got worse for her from there,
But hey, she has
essentially.
synergy with Summer Aoi now.
You know, she does. That is
Has
true.
anyone explored that? Has anybody looked into the Steam Comp? No,
Nah, probably
probably
no.
not.
It's too slow. It's probably too slow. Am I wrong? I think it's too slow.
It can't be good.
Debuffers. Uh, Mia 2 is still the goat. Just mostly because Amon orbs exist. Without Amon orbs, she wasn't seeing too much play until literally the what's called the Fierce crits came out. So uh, long behold, you guys got a very nice buff of having Amon orbs. Without that, Mia 2 probably wouldn't have seen the light of day. But now she does. She is, though we dropped her because of Ruka getting higher tier, I still think that we can bump her up. She's just too solid of a unit to want to like lower her just because Diva's around. In fact, that could also make her even better as a unit. So I think this is like a fair place to put her. Aina can just stay where she is because she doesn't have uh, what's called single target defense down, except for if
Mhm.
you run the orb, which is 11. Is it 9? 9 SP. I keep thinking
Not
11
SP.
because I keep running Yanagi. Yanagi messes me up, man. Oh man.
And her
Isu.
passive really should have excluded orb skills. Any other skill would be
What?
fine. Just not orb skills. It should have excluded orb skills from her SP cost increase.
I know, right? It really should have. It was bad. Anyways, Isuzu 2. Isuzu 2, we will now incorporate that you have Isuzu 3. So for now, I'm going to put that on here so it's just easier for people to understand. You are to be expected of Isuzu 3 for this particular um, like ranking. Now she will have AoE fragile, so she'll have AoE defense down, AoE DP defense down, AoE fragile. She's a monster on her own. Her defense down is crazy good, and therefore, I would at least mark her as a little bit higher in the strong tier. I don't think it will make or break on you using her or not in a lot of places, but in AoE content, you probably will be using her with Inori 2 to just like completely um, like destroy the competition. Definitely better than Mia 2 when it comes to AoE um, content. So yeah, I think that's about it here. Do we have anyone else here? Fubuki's not in here right now. Where did Fubuki go? Is she still in dark? Oh, she's still in dark. Right, I forgot. She's still more dark at the moment.
She doesn't have her
These guys can stay where
skill
they are.
evolution.
They're not very viable. But Maki, does she get her skill Evo?
She doesn't have it yet.
When does she get it? I don't remember. Is that what the event?
Maybe that would make sense.
I think I just updated this kit upgrade, so we would know. No, it's not. So we don't have any clue when this will come out. but we will assume that it is out for this. For this. Just hopefully it'll come out soon. Wow, they didn't give us cut in either. Huh. Anyways, we're gonna assume Maki does have it. That does bring her up to strong tier. She is very strong. With Evo. So, if you're wondering what the changes between Evo and not Evo, here it is. Essentially, she goes from 1 turn fragile to 2 turn fragile and 2 turn defense down. You don't need charge to make it happen, as you can see. Charge only changes the DR rate, um, right here, and the potency, but we don't really care about her damage anyways. So, yeah, that's the thing. Um, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Because new Maki is coming out, and I think this came out with new Maki, right?
I think so, in JP.
Yeah. So without Ian having that, that kind of feels a little bad. Hard to like make use of Maki. Maybe note her Evo. Sure, I can note that Evo. We'll just make that red because she's not. Oh, that's not the right red. Red, because she's not Evoed yet. Everyone else here can pretty much stay where they are. They're not that great, and there's no reason to have them unviable. I don't think we have any new general debuffers. Yeah, yeah, we don't. Elemental debuffers. We might need to make a new row soon. um, Overall, Shadow and Casa. Um, Hopefully Casa's out soon. We're at a
Yeah.
place where I wouldn't be surprised Hisame comes out before Casa. You feeling the same?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if like next like rotation we have Kisame come out before Casa. That feels real bad. Um, but I can see that being a thing. These two they got bumped down a tier or whatever, but yeah, these guys are 10 out of 10 the best, but at this point, due to how Diva works, Casa should be marked down 1 peg to top of tier 9 instead of anywhere else. Still very solid unit. And we'll bring in Hisame because they're part of the Shadow series in a way. That's what I like to call them. And she's going to be slotted right next to Shadow as just a very busted unit when it comes to. Oh, she's not here yet. I need to use red. Ooh, wait. I need to do that before. That's my bad. But yeah, overall, Hisame is going to be bottom tier 10. Very, very solid unit. She's going to be your ice overwrite. Just like how the Shadow series are. Shadow is Thunder rewrite, and Casa is Dark rewrite. So, why is Casa lower is because, unlike the others, she actually doesn't provide any other debuff. She's just there to provide hit count for anyone in the front line that is Dark, and it's small hit count, as well as just a large dark enhance. So that's pretty much how her kit works. And since you have less use of her hit count buff, it's just to note that like these two you basically get full use of her kit. Okay. And the biggest thing about Hisame is Hisame can actually abuse um, Nuka here in terms of like being able to loop OD during this time. So excuse me, very solid unit, very good. As for the Megus, at this point they're still very strong. I would probably mark them up another peg as well. We can also move up Miko. Miko's already in the game, right? So these two, though they were marked down a whole entire tier because of Diva, I still think
Miko's
that
not in the
they
game,
should.
is she? Did they add
Is
her?
she not? Is she not?
Maybe she is.
Is she? I thought she was.
What banner was she on?
Yeah, she's in. She's an EN.
Huh. When did
I don't
that
know.
happen?
Uh, I don't follow EN. You're asking the wrong person. Um, but they should be basically like only knocked down like half a peg. Fields in EN are still incredibly strong. Of course, they fall short later on, but they're still incredibly strong and should be counted for as strong still in EN. So I will have that reflected here. And yep, Mia 3 is now also in the game, and she is considered at this point in the game still strong. I also want her to be just half a peg lower than like knock down half a peg rather than a full peg in terms of debuffing potential, and she's just very good and very strong. A lot of it has to do with that she actually pairs very well with Hisame, where Hisame gives you AoE defense down and AoE ice defense down. Um, Mia provides fragile AoE as well as AoE permanent defense down and AoE ice defense down. So this allows both of them to be used, and none of their debuffs actually overlap, which is why they were very strong together. Um, Fubuki, yeah, at this point, Fubuki also gets um, her Evo. So I'm gonna also mark just like Maki's, right? I want to mark Fubuki as red as she has her Evo, and she's gonna be changed to the general debuffer side at this point. And we can probably just yep. And she basically slips in right under Mia. At this point, we are to assume that you do have Fubuki 2 in here, and I can kind of just add that in here as well, just so then people understand that like this is what is kind of needed for her to be at this tier. Fubuki 2 and Fubuki getting Evo, we'll just go over that real quick. But Fubuki on her Evo allows they first of all they change what debuff comes first. So before, as funny as it is, during overdrive, um the what debuff is this called in EN? Red?
Enfeeble.
Enfeeble. Okay. Enfeeble used to come last. Like this is actually what how it looked like. It sounds really dumb. It looks really dumb. But this is how it used to be. Enfeeble used to be last. And so they actually changed it after the Evo. I don't know why they didn't just buff it, but after the Evo is it comes first, and then you have fragile and defense down. And so as you can notice, it used to only do fragile. Now you do fragile and defense down. On top of that, um, there are 2 turns instead of 1 turn, and they changed the cost from 13 to 12. Very small change indeed, but it is a huge deal. So Fubuki with that gets a pretty high spot for her. And if you haven't seen Fubuki, wow, I spelled Fubuki wrong. Um, if you haven't seen Fubuki 2, this skill here, though it only has 2 uses, um, it will increase the overdrive gauge by 75% on the first time, and the second time it'll be 25%. So she can get OD extremely fast and is a big deal. So, yep. As for everyone else, I don't see a reason to bump them up, but I have a reason to lower them, I guess. Isuzu does get a
Agile.
fragile, and Isuzu also gets um
She's had her skill
a
evolution for ages.
skill evo. Oh, she has?
Since the game's release, I think.
No, she shouldn't have it yet.
Isuzu
Not Isuzu,
definitely has
right?
her skill evo. Yeah,
Does she?
does she?
En is currently right here. I'm pretty sure she doesn't.
Could have sworn she had it. Okay,
I
maybe
mean,
she
we could
doesn't then.
check. We could wait. Is it? Okay, we can't check because it's already in here, isn't it? Wait, actually, wait.
Maybe that's what I was getting confused about.
Yeah, it's Nina. It's not Isuzu. See?
Oh, right. Nina.
Okay. So
The other
Isuzu does
31E
get
fire.
her. Yeah, so Isuzu gets hers. It's not that important really. She does have at half cost if she has 31E, but outside of that, it just becomes 2 turns rather than 1 turn. Nothing crazy and game breaking for her, but she does get um the fragile, so I'm gonna put +3 since that is an important reason why she is getting um improvement here. And I think we'll put her like kind of like a whole 2 tier up in a sense because it is very important for her kit. These two shadows gonna dip down half, and these two are gonna be dipped down even further, in my opinion, than Koju is. They're just not as prominent by any means, and you'll pretty much never see any of these girls anyways being used, unfortunately. So we can keep them as it is, and Hisame can fall to fringe for all we know. Um, Other debuffers that exist that are being new is going to be not Maki because she's actually a breaker. Um, it's going to be Isuzu 3. So, um, welcome aboard the Isuzu 3 train. Isuzu 3 is very good, very strong. She will be providing a unique um, what's called passive. And if you have ever done some score attack and enjoyed your time being stuck in the front line and you can't move, she makes it so that can never happen. Essentially, it is a very cool thing that they have going on with her. If there is like a rule set or anything that has a restraint, you can pretty much ignore it. That's basically her only gimmicky thing, and I thought it was really cool when she first came out. Until it never showed up really for a long time. It like rarely shows up now. I think. Her main thing is she is a fielder who provides AOE defense down that scales with level. So very strong indeed. If you haven't looked again, it's 2 turns, so you can actually set up the turn before. If you're like really weird, you can pop OD1 and pop this twice, and somehow or like you'll have both of them for both turns. Um, Not recommended. I'm just saying you can. Her common skill, which is what gives every one of her versions, is the AoE fragile. Very strong for hitting weakness and like for when you're hitting weakness, and everyone can have it. It's only 8 SP, so overall very good. And I like to give her a nice right under Miko rating as she is very strong. However, Miko is used way more because she is single target than Isuzu being AoE. I think it's like a very fair place to put her. Aina, I think, is the other one. Yeah. Aina
Yep.
is basically just as good as her counterparts in a sense. I'm gonna place her basically right next to Mia. Uh, she can put single target fragile for very cheap. If you have SS1, which you are to assume you do, this is what this list is assuming is all of these have SS1s. She can give a lot of OD. So very strong unit. Her passive is also very nice to have because if you're in OD range, you actually make her defense down more potent. So the mere fact that like her permanent can also be stronger is also nothing to like look down upon, even if the numbers aren't the highest. So, yeah, I think this is a good. Oh, we should change the color for this. I think this is a good. Oop, I changed the wrong one. Oops. There we go. I think these are basically the changes we can see in the debuffer side of things. I don't think I missed anything in particular. I think this is about right, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
She's
I'd say
probably
so.
like a little bit better than Meow 2, but it doesn't, or Meow 3, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't think it's
I think
that
she is
big
the
of a
best of
deal.
her like permanent defense down counterparts.
What about
Until Mia
AOE
gets her master
5?
skill, then
What do
it's
you
yeah.
mean? AOE 5. Mari has permanent defense down. What about that?
So does Light Boon go, but I don't think anybody's using her for that.
Yeah. Anyways, now we have our utility supports. Aina 2 is coming out very soon. Still very strong. I don't think I want to move her, especially don't want to move her up. Main reason is, as I've already noted before, uh, main concern being that she is not synergistic actually with Ruka, but she is very synergistic with Tsukasa. So in a lot of dark teams at this time, you use basically both of them, and you just run around the boss as you're able to get OD and loop very easily with these two. At least like loop like 3 ODs back to back, you can. Aina, one, not really seeing any other problems outside of getting to pop off on her um, EX1. Just the amount of OD she gives is still very significant enough for her to warrant a spot in tier 8, and that's totally fine. Koju just came out, so we're gonna recolor Koju. I've got we need to recolor you too. Um, Koju 3 is currently in EN banner. You have daily free pulls right now. If you have not pulled on the daily free pulls, you probably should. Um, she is a very solid unit, gives morale. And morale is kind of a nice thing to have in your back pocket. Oh, I guess it doesn't show us morale units. That's fine. Um, Morale is a very nice thing to have. Plus 5 SP. I mean SP. 5 stats to all your stats. And 5% skill enhance. The skill enhance just being additive to other skill enhances is not a big deal. You know, Red, I'm actually surprised. You know how like they buffed a lot of like things that were just skill enhance related, but they're just additive
Yep.
as long as they were not skill enhance. I'm surprised they didn't buff morale for having this. I know this is like really OP currently in JP,
Yeah.
but like I'm surprised it wasn't touched. I just realized.
No,
Anyways,
instead Invigorate got buffed into becoming Morale.
yeah, true.
That was a real buff.
So, thing about Kochu is that uh for the same cost as an OD orb, she will give 15% overdrive, um which is basically the same thing as an OD orb. So her EX is actually just a glorified OD orb that can be used more than once. You can use it up to 6 times in EN, and JP is 8. Um, and this skill will just give stats to your whole team, which is nice, maxing out at plus 50 per stat. She can provide crit rate. You're probably going to be hitting 70 anyways, 9 times out of 10. And so it'll be just like a nice thing to add and give you a solid 30% crit damage. Nothing crazy for you to like be happy about, but she is the go-to girl for um, like arts battle if you care about arts battle. Um, if you don't have the best means of like damage dealers like Nina 1 or Karen 2 for dungeon, she is very helpful for dungeon as well. So just like small things to note. She is very good, but she doesn't really get any higher than tier 8 in my opinion at the moment. Akari SS2 is a goat if you can break with her. And I personally still keep her at tier 8. If you can break with her, she's always going to be a phenomenal unit to have.
Mhm.
Well, 1.5 bar of OD is nothing to
Yep.
say say low about. So yeah,
I
there's
used
that.
her in the newest EN score attack just for fun, and she did an excellent job. She broke both the bosses and won on turn 3, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Yeah,
people
you could
who
just
did
do
use
that.
her for this current score attack had a wonderful time with her because she can just pop that, get you to OD3, I mean OD2 really quickly. If you put OD2 during OD2, you can pop the
Yep,
other
that's
one
exactly it.
and you get OD2 again really fast. In fact, you could probably get to OD3 to be fair with
Yeah,
OD2
but it's
pop.
easier to just do
But
two OD2s.
I know, I'm just saying you could.
You could, you absolutely could.
You absolutely could. But anytime the Akari 2 pops off, she pops off. As a utility support for providing you so much OD in a current like in EN when it is hard to make make use of her. Sure in EN right now, like LB1 is probably enough just because they did give plus 10 S level
Hmm.
comparatively to what we had in JP, which is why she was considered LB2 plus when we like when I put this list up because LB2 plus is makes her very reliable on doing her job. Um, at this point, like when Diva's out, like I've used her quite a bit. You really don't need LB2 anymore, so I'm just gonna get rid of that marker, and we're just gonna get rid of oh no, like she's LB1. Um, because the mere fact that like you won't have that problem anymore. In fact, I don't think En would have that problem as long as she's LB1 personally. I think you did you use her LB0?
LB0, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Because like the plus 10 to plus 10 S level is huge. Oh, not S level. Regular level, just like level in general is so big. On how many stats you get? You get like 20 stats or some crazy stuff. So, uh, very big deal. Let's see. I think these two are still I can still consider them pretty good. I think um yeah, I don't think they change too much in position for these two for utility.
Probably not.
Uh, I don't think there's too much for me to go over for them. Um Waki kind of gives you more OD because of hit count stuff as well as she can donate and um in this case why I don't really want to like lower her too much is because she can actually donate to a good friend Diva, who can then pop off really quickly. Yuina is always going to be good for her give more extra turns to all allies in the front line. So there's nothing to like say that she's bad about. She's very strong, and in fact, the way to see it is that she's stronger the stronger that the her allies are. So um, yeah, there's that. Yuki, this was she was placed here. I remember correctly, is due to the fact that um, we are to not have another dark field for a while. Not another, but like a stronger version of a dark field, in a sense. Which Idoha kind of like overtakes when she gets her Evo, Yuki. And the mere fact that I don't remember exactly, but I think at this time we weren't sure if we are gonna get orb skills. So because there are a lot more means of dispelling, Yuki's usage and prominence is like pretty much dwindled. Um, I could probably put her towards like bottom of viable, and it wouldn't be a wrong placement for her anymore. Just due to the fact that we have weakening orb that can get dispel. Is this fair?
Yeah, she's not that good.
I think it's fair that like because we did rate her due to the fact that she can dispel, but then I don't think we took in account during that time that because like I don't think we knew because if you look at the date, I don't think we knew if the orbs, the weakening orb was gonna be a thing, but now we do,
Mhm.
so there's no point. Um, as for everyone else, I think they kind of sit in the right place for now. We can probably raise Hisame because she can actually do her job by breaking, and plus 8 SP is always going to be nice. I think that's going to be a thing, but she kind of gets lower again once Kaden 6 comes out because you'll never break with her again. So um, I think we can effectively. I'm going to place her right here for now, but I'm going to probably move um, Nina down and move. Yuina down, and then place Hisame next to Maki. And I think this is fair. I think she's like the top of this in terms of um, what she can bring to the table. Does this sound look about right? I think so, right? I think this looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I don't think anyone else pretty much gets touched in this current case. Um, there we go. Yeah. I don't think anyone else gets touched, and no one needs to get added here. Just looking real quick. Kuda, we are to expect. I am not so sure. Do we get master skills?
we have badges but not master skills.
Okay, we're assuming master skills are out. Because, like, please, where are master skills? The only one that matters, that like really changes how they're like a lot of like rating. I think I don't think I think her and Adele are the only ones that like really change how they're rated. Oh, and Mia, really change how a unit is rated. So, um, can we assume that they have it and just place them
I
here?
think it's fine too.
Yeah. So, I'm just gonna take from the JP tier list real quick because I like to do this. It's my little thing that I do. Um, Place them right here. They deserve a spot right here. Their field just being universal is always going to be a good thing to have. Um, and them being a blaster on top of being a fielder is always a nice combo. It's something that's missing in all Pierce crit teams right now is a fielder, and they can also fulfill the blaster role, which is always nice because there is really no blaster role currently for um, that archetype, if I'm not mistaken. Um, we could probably just lower Byakuo and Koju to like fringe, like completely fringe. Um,
Yep.
you don't see them. Uh, there we go. Now we can look at our other supports here. So we have Maki, we have Inori, we have Yuki, and technically Fubuki. Um, and we can add Yuri to the mix if we want to. In this case, Maki, she's about to come out right now. Not right now, but next week. Way. Her main thing is she's actually a breaker who can do debuffs. Seems nice until you realize her SP cost is 18 and that she doesn't have a DP mod. So you may think, oh, she might not be able to break pretty well. Her potency is very high because of her SP cost, and the DP defense down actually really helps her on dealing a lot of damage. Probably deals way more damage than a breaker does in general, just because of her potency and her DP defense down. But even then, um, I don't see her being very good as a utility personally. Um, I kind of probably would put her next to just Maki One. I don't know. It just costs too much. Is that weird to say?
No, it definitely
Stick,
costs too much.
just stick her next to Maki One. um, Yuki 6. So maybe we might need another. I think so, right? Mm, I think we should, right? Just insert a column. There we go. Yuki 6. She will be the next Onion after Yuina, but we don't have Yuina, do we?
Nope, we don't. We just
Well,
got Ruka recently.
so we don't know when the heck she's coming, but she will come. Um, Ignore the 100% DP; it's 50%. Um, but she will give you status down for 100 and 2 turn fragile. The main thing to point out is that she will come with which one is it? This one. With this, which will be if she breaks. Um, this currently in JP is if anyone breaks, it got buffed. But in EN, I'm pretty sure they're gonna release her with if she breaks, unless they release her with the patch that is this being buffed. So we don't know which one it is, but I'm assuming it's
Mhm.
the one if she breaks. The boss is down for an extra turn. Um, is this one right here, and then this one here is the DD. Sorry, I misread. I'm so tired. This one is the one that's like the break turn, and that's a common skill that can be provided to all Yukis, and this one is the debuff duration increase. Man, I'm real tired. But being able to down a boss for an extra turn, as well as the hacking, actually makes her really strong. Um, but in EN, you don't necessarily need that. So I think I'm gonna put her like in the same tier right here, as these girls. I think that's like a good place to put them. Is that like weird to say? I think this is like a great place to put her. It's like not necessary, but also very strong. Red, you there?
Yeah,
Or do you think
I
I
think
should
that's
rate her a
fine.
little bit higher?
I was
I
thinking a
could
little
rate
bit
her.
higher.
Yeah, I was like, I think this is too low, but I think we could place her here. Yeah, I'll place her here. We'll fix this later. It looks ugly. It's fine. Fubuki's actually, we could just put Fubuki here. That's a good place to put Fubuki for now. Fubuki has her, ability of giving a lot of OD. So, um, yep. Just we already went over her. I don't think I need to go for it again. Inori 3, sadly, is not as good as her um SS2 counterpart, but she is very fun to play with and very nice. Um, Essentially all she does is she consumes all of her SP in order to do a good amount of DR. As you can see, if she has charge, it will be doing 22, and if she doesn't have charge, it is 11. In a sense, you can just kind of like use this and then just spam the rest with this. And it's very nice combo with Diva in a sense, since you could just spam this back to back to back. So you can run so she can do an 8 hit plus 5 hit if you're running Diva's, just 5 hit version. And that is going to be a solid 13 hits. So you can just do 13 hit, 13 hit, 13 hit, and build a bunch of OD that way. I think when we first made the tier list, Red mentioned that he was doing that.
Oh yeah, she
Was
just is a good generalist. She does a lot of useful stuff, and then slowly got outclassed by other characters who are better at being generalist support utility units.
Yep. So overall, she is a solid unit. She does provide a good amount of DR and a good amount of OD, especially with Diva. Um, I don't particularly put her like I don't particularly feel that she does sit in a strong tier, but I do think that she should sit like around here. I think around here with
I'd say
Kisame.
like slightly lower.
Slightly lower. You think with
Yeah,
Kare?
yeah.
It's about it's about here though. I don't see her particularly as low as Byakko, but definitely not better than like Hisame in terms of like how often I would want her around. Um, but the main good part about her is she doesn't just like be useful as a OD DR generator. She also can be your dark damage dealer, as she is. Her SS1 is a dark damage dealing um, unit, so you can always have her as your damage dealer instead. Which technically I could move that over, but it's fine. Um, yep, that's about it. And we go to everyone's favorite unit. Let's see, let's take this. Um, there we go. And we now have everyone's favorite unit, Admiral AI. If you have not heard of her, you should probably go back to my JP tier list and how much I talk about her. But overall, she is a tier 10 on her release. Um, she is just everything you can ask for from a defensive standpoint, and can kind of make do with you never bringing a healer if you run things properly. Um, Her main thing is that she can provide 100% overdrive gauge and revive all DP with the mere cost of 10 SP, which becomes 9 with her LB1 passive. So, very cheap, very nice to have. Her extra little thing is that she can now provide enhances, which increase by level, but sadly enough, the crit damage is 30 instead of 50, so it doesn't really mean too much. But if you are running someone um, like Diva, it becomes a very big pivotal point for you to understand that you want Mind Eye and Enhance, and if you are running um, Aoi, you only need to find Mind Eye. So you can have someone who has Self Mind Eye, or you can bring someone who just brings Mind Eye, and you can make very big do with that. Um, we should. I should probably put here master. Wow, it doesn't fit. People understand, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oops. There you go. Yeah, there's that. People will know. Wow, she has this crazy 100% crit rate passive. I think this passive only mattered to me in like dungeon if I ever used it.
Mhm.
Most of the time, I actually didn't want to run it because my supports would end up killing the boss, but that's because I have LBs. If you don't have LBs, this could still be useful for you, especially during the early days, especially with Diva, because Diva only provides crit rate and crit damage to the front 3 units, which means that if those front 3 units were not the units auto attacking, um, there would be no healing going around. So if you did have Admiral AI in your team and you really need to heal up, like units just from auto attacking and they did not receive the Diva buff, they can still actually heal up to full with one auto attack with this passive. You just have to be wary if your supports actually are dealing too much damage or not. Outside of that, there's nothing special about her. She's still just an Aoi. Angel Wings everything. Does its job. Um, if you are wondering, she also increases your usage limit by 1, unless, of course, it is limited use. So that means that Angel Wings can be used more than you're used to. So yeah,
Although with Diva,
overall,
it can already be used more than you're used to.
okay, you know what? You're not wrong, but like, please.
All right, we'll wait till we get to Diva.
No, we already got the Diva. It's fine.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
so out of the support side, not damage side, your tier 10s are basically looking like this. We have Diva, we have the Shadow series, that's not Casa, and we have Admiral Aoi. These are kind of like your most solid units to have. If you're not running Thunder or Ice, you can ignore Shadow series and Hisame totally, but um, overall, Aoi and Diva are your go-to girls to basically steamroll content in a way, without having to worry too much. Yeah, let's. Should I fix this? Should I make this look better?
Oh, yeah, it could just be cleaned up.
Yeah, let's just take
I mean, you don't have to
get
do
rid
it
of
right now.
this. I go. I could. It doesn't take that long, right? Just do this and see. It's cleaned up. Okay. We can go to damage dealers next, but before we go to damage dealers, I just need to use restroom, so I'll be right back.
All right.
Um, please hold. Okay, I'm back. I didn't realize Rem was with us, except for Rem is muted and deafened, so he's only watching.
Just here in spirit.
He's here in spirit. Uh, silly Rem. Anyways, damage dealers. We have a couple. Um, we could probably get rid of our notable S's, right? At this point, I think so. I'm just gonna get rid of them. Goodbye, notable S's. You were nice to have. You're gone. Um, so damage dealers. Woo. So with the change of how things are with Diva, um, the Adels are not as strong as they once were, unfortunately, because the main thing that they had above everyone else was the mere fact that they were their hit count was large, and everyone else can only have small hit count. I hope that kind of changes at some point for Adels because this feels bad for Adels. I miss having
Yeah.
good Adels, and now like in JP, you basically never see Adele except for Adele 4. I really hope they buff them. Or something. Give him a bone. Honestly.
Well, we
Um.
still need our Waukese minion Adele, so maybe she'll be good.
Oh, but like she's not gonna be the damage yet because that's gonna be Waki, right?
No, she'll be the blaster.
Yeah, she's gonna be the next Kanen 6 blaster, right?
Yeah, let's see if she can compete.
What if she can though? Would you
Well,
roll?
then she'll only be able to compete on one specific team, which is the Bungo team. And
I
no, I
know,
won't roll
but
because I
like
don't have
as
it.
long as I mean I don't have money, so I understand. Wait, she's not in the game. Yeah, is she? Is No, she's not. Oh, oops, that was a miss one. Okay, back to everything. So, damage dealers being the best and everything. We'll fit in our notable best damage dealer though. She really wants LB3 more than anything else, and that is the Sumor More. Um, I can't really put her as too high on here because we're assuming without LB3, but I will also do this so people understand how big of a difference LB3 passive is to her or not. Is she's gonna be on here twice. She's gonna be just phenomenal unit on her release, and there's not much to say outside of like she's just really strong. It's not a fake statement to say that if you did have her LB3, you can just go to the Arachne boss with her alone, ult on turn 1, and kill the boss. I don't think I'm wrong on this. I'm pretty sure this is correct because I remember this being a thing. Currently in JP it might not be, but in EN, I mean in JP back then, that was a thing. Um, I think, yeah, yeah, that was crazy. Aoi is still kind of your most prominent damage dealers to this day, and continues to be so. Um, damn, she's been meta damage dealer since release, man. She's crazy.
Yeah, she's pretty crazy.
She's pretty crazy. Irene too, pretty much sees as much play. Um, doesn't see as much play with Sumomo being around at this point. Like, sure, you can see. I did put her a lot higher in probably previous tier lists on the JP side, but once we get to where like Sumo More is around and Diva, you really don't see Irene being played too much. So we're gonna be kind of like removing from the backdrop. I'm gonna be taking out the Adels from here because actually you just really don't see them anymore. And we kind of make some room for some more standouts. Um, Unfortunately, the Nuka doesn't get to see very much play either. However, we do get to see yeah, Diva come out into prominence. I think she should be rated about here, right? Yeah.
Yep.
But you are basically this most important one. You basically are required to have her SS4 for this to be a very prominent thing, and without it, you're basically not seeing the same world. Uh, if you're missing even just Nuka 4, you will not see the same prominence on her release if they have similar units and similar like situation as JP did. So, assuming under that, that's kind of like where things stand. Um, During this time, Kanade also comes into prominence. Kanade 2. So we're gonna place her right here. Very high damage dealer. With one of the highest caps in the game. With her what's called with her HP mod attached, she actually deals a whopping like 37k potency if you actually reach cap, which you pretty much won't in if unless you're a giant whale. Oh, I forgot to put Yudi down here. We'll do that later. Oh well. During this time, I'm gonna fatten up here. Just there we go. Um, since we just, yeah, we're just gonna empty this. There we go. Because we have to fit in Fubuki. Fubuki is crazy good damage dealer for Thunder. If anything, she deserves a spot basically right next to um, Aoi and Diva at this time. Just to give a heads up to those, if you're looking at even just the JP tier list, Fubuki and Aoi are still at the very top pinnacle of Thunder damage. In fact, they're basically carrying Thunder on their backs. The new Carol is dealing as much damage, if not more, than Fubuki, but does not hold a candle to Aoi's damage, but is a lot faster than Aoi. Um, but overall, these two are much easier to play with than Carol because Aoi will have SS1 for defending the team, and Fubuki will have faster ways of getting OD as well as being able to be a debuffer herself um, to like show prominence and stuff. Over here, um, these two become like neck and neck, and they kind of stayed that way for the rest of time. Um, what comes out with Kanade during this time that is high in prominence would be I think that's about it actually. You know what? Pretty much no one really, right? I don't remember anyone else
Yeah.
being prominent. It was just these guys. Dark was pretty much dead. And Fire was pretty much Diva or no one. Udis was still held a semi candle to. We're just not gonna have this anymore because it doesn't matter. Um, and anyone who is named Duka at this time pretty much fell out of relevance because you couldn't use her properly. Um, we'll even just get rid of Duka 1 because you just wouldn't use her by herself. I wouldn't call them like bad, but they were definitely underviable just because you couldn't use them properly. So I'm just gonna place our Dukas here. Wow, I just realized they didn't really bring out too much AoE damage dealers, huh?
Oh, well, we didn't need it because no AoE content.
I mean, it's true. Kanade being able to provide herself Mind Eye actually came up in prominence in Light. But during this time, you have to remember this is right before Yuina 5, which means that Light was still considered the weakest element at the time. Um, and Dark would just basically became Dark and Light being pretty miserable because they're missing a lot of things. Um, Overall, I would say damage dealer wise, this kind of fits the bill in terms of what you would see. Tama definitely not here anymore though. Tama definitely was lower, so it should at least lower Tama. She's not very viable at the time. She became prominent in JP more so as a damage dealer. If you see it a little bit, um, like getting close to like more than viable and stuff. A lot of it just had to do with the fact that she's one stat scaling, and that became a very big deal. But overall, there isn't too much of a problem here. Um, yeah, I don't think I have to change too much on here. Ichigo was still considered stronger, so I think I should raise her up because she does give herself more. If I remember correctly, we she was considered strong, but that was mostly because um, other things made her strong. Chie was bumped down because she's mostly here because of her personal hit count buff. Um, and Inori 3 plus 1, right? Became a thing, and that was because she could give herself blast. I think she was considered uh, decently strong. There you go. Mari is considered strong as well because she can provide herself with some Mind Eye as well as be able to pop things really fast. Mari was still considered good, but remember that Ice became much more meta once um, Tsukasa 5 came out, more than anything else. The Adels, I'd say, um, kind of filled in the boat. I think Yui actually is about the same level as Muddy, and I think the Adels pretty much could sit around here. They were not necessary anymore, but because they can function without Diva, they were still considered good. During this time, Diva was not a requirement in a team. However, Diva just made things a lot easier. Um, by all means. Ichigo 3, I would have considered her. She was a little bit on the slower side. That's why I didn't really like her. At least to try to use her. Chie was basically barely viable. Um, yeah. Damage dealers overall, outside of the top, have been very hard to gauge. Ever since uh like this era, should I say? Because there's just a bunch of things running around. So if it seems like I'm confused or I'm trying to figure out where things go, that's pretty much the case. I think Red can kind of like vouch for me here that like damage dealers are just a lot harder to gauge on just because of um how they like they're just hard to figure out which ones you want to use outside of the top ones
Yeah, you're
at the
basically
moment.
just relying on your supports to do all the work, and at that point it doesn't really matter who you're using as your damage dealer as long as they can hit weakness. So you just throw
Yeah.
on whoever is like, I don't know, the first one you notice on your memorial list, and then you do fine anyway.
So yeah, overall, it's not the craziest thing. You'll see a lot of people in JP that can hit like 3 mil, 3.2 mil, um, who are using like weird damage dealers like Bungo One. You can look at like the JP tier list and be like, well, over there I'm seeing like 3.2 Hisame or 3.0 Byako or something like that. But honestly, a lot of it just has to do with how much investment you put into it, because um to put in perspective, my Maria 3 can net me like 3 mil on a score attack that someone who invested fully into Maria 3 will get 3.6. So like a 600k differential in score is very normal with depending on how much investment, and the amount of investment you could put in a character now in JP is way higher than it is in EN. EN is just like limit breaks, Daphne, and you're set, I think, right?
Yep,
Anything else?
pretty
It's just that,
much.
right? Yeah. But that's not the case in JP. So there's just so much more you have to think about and invest into. Um, yeah. So I think that's it for single tack. single target. AoE wise, Inori 2, still the GOAT. I think everyone just gets shifted. Everyone can get pretty much okay at the bottom, to be honest, and these two. I think largely these can be ignored. Let's go from here. We can shift them up half at the very least, and we can get rid of Mona here, right? There we go. Uh, these kind of haven't changed, except for Ichigo gets less because we do
Yeah.
now have Ruka, and so Ichigo actually is not considered as useful anymore, especially because her base damage is pretty minuscule. She's not even really considered strong. I think in fire you would even use um, Akari, who doesn't even have an HP mod over Ichigo. Um, Minori actually sees a little bit more prominence since then. So I'm gonna raise her a little bit higher. Hisame probably sees more prominence as well, especially because she got buffed. Um, so I'm gonna also raise her up at least a little bit. But yeah, like a lot of this is really hard to gauge on like how useful, how much viable, like how much you actually want to use them. So it is outside of the very top. Just understand that if you're like not in this category, it's just really hard to know how good they are because the yeah. Let's see. Kaden I think it's lower by a tier here during this time, and let me just clean up everything, and we're pretty much done outside of doing Yudi because I totally forgot about her.
Yeah, but she's easy to put on the list.
Yeah, she just gets placed basically right next to Yuki. So, well, Yuki 4. So, I think that's like one thing I do like about HBR is damage dealers. You can kind of use whoever you want, and it's fine if it's not one of the top. If it's not top, it really doesn't matter who you're using. You could just have fun. Um, so there we go. We're nearly done. As I fix this up. Oops. Sorry, this is very boring. I apologize. Okay, so I clean this up. And here we go. Um, don't think I'm missing anyone I care about. I think overall we can probably note Mona being. Nah, Mona's still right here. Yeah, I think that's about right. Overall, damage dealer is hard to gauge, but overall, I think this is a good aspect. So I'll clean up the whole list and I'll post it. I think this looks about right, right, Red?
Yep, I think it looks right.
Yeah, there's a lot of the ones down here are interchangeable of how good they are. Um, so yeah, don't get me wrong. Yuri, she's gonna be living right next to Yuki when it comes to that, where she is viable, but there's just better options most of the time than using her. And that's about it. Um, yeah, I think that's all I can note. Um, maybe I'll take a food for thought. I will be updating this, like I said yesterday, best I can. Take some time to do it. There might be a chance that I just end up kind of marking here instead of notable skills. I might just change this to marking like, hey, if Yostar says, pick which one to kind of like mark recommended pick. Maybe that might be a good idea. Um, if people
Yeah,
think otherwise, let me know. But I think that might be a good idea for people since then I can just do it like once and ignore it for all time. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, take care, and I'm glad this one was not as long as last night's. So, um, yep,
Yeah,
enjoy
you
yourself,
should
chat.
probably get some sleep.
Take care.